Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OTS News. My name is MD from New York. AEW Dynamite has officially been rebranded as AAA Dynamite Fiesta del Filler. Last week, AEW brought us Grand Slam Mexico live from the legendary Arena Mexico, a building known for hosting lucha legends but now permanently haunted by the ghost of AEW storytelling. In a groundbreaking move, Tony Khan decided to book 2.5 hours of absolutely nothing tonight. A house show dressed in tacos and masks with zero storyline advancement for AEW's biggest show of the year, All In Texas. Because when you're barely pushing 20,000 tickets, what a better way to build hype than by running a lucha tribute show that ended with absolutely no one getting over. Sources close to Tony Khan say he has booked the entire show while wearing a pentagon mask, eating a quesadilla, and yelling, "This is for the culture," in between bumps of his morning Celsius. And if you're wondering how the hype for All In is at Globe Life Field, well, year one drew 83,000, year two drew 55,000. This year, folks, let's just say the parking lot is still available. Tony Khan, we salute you for single-handedly proving that the only thing falling faster than AEW ticket sales is logic. Tonight, JD and Jesse, the Chi-Town Smark, will be reviewing AEW Dynamite. Will there be an actual episode to review tonight, or did they both fall asleep due to boredom? Find out next. This is OTS News.
If I could show you the top of the world, Oh, my goodness. Is everybody awake? Coming off the heels of a very boring Grand Slam Mexico, AEW cruises into Seattle. AEW on cruise control, 18 days away from their biggest show ever. I don't know how you could call it your biggest show ever, man, when it's not even halfway full. Man, those numbers are staggering, bro. How we go from 83 one year, 55 the next, to not even 20. Story is king, ladies and gentlemen. Story is king. Which you got none of tonight, really. No dialogue. Nothing more than attacks and recklessness all over the place. And the Beast Muertos was in the main event 18 days before All In. The Beast Muertos was in the main event for a second week in a row. Gee, I wonder why. It was a hot one in New York City today, man. Tonight, the beer garden's gonna be on fire. We're drinking them cold, and when I get there on this Wednesday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite Post Show for June 25th, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining us on your Wednesday evening, wherever you may be, joined by the one and the only. He had to watch Collision this week. Jesse, the Shot-Town Smart. What's going on, man?
Not much, brother. How you feel, man?
I'm barely alive, bro.
Oh, man. Come
It's
on.
100 degrees again for a second day in a row, man, and I'm fucking tired, man. Bored.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, bro, you're going to be warm and wet in another day or two, bro.
Yes, thank you for the Chicago weather update, which we usually get 24 hours later, man. Thank you.
It's about 24 to 36 hours later, you get our weather. It's going to be a wet one.
I already looked, man. It's going to be 71 on Friday, man. What the fuck is that?
All that water cooled everything off, man.
We went from fucking scorching Florida heat to fall in New York City in one fell swoop like that. Goodbye.
Basically. Yeah, it's coming. It'll cool off. It'll be nice and drenched there for you, but I hope you get that garage ready for the dark horse, man.
That's all right. It's in the garage. I should have took it out today or this week. I have not done that, but we'll talk about the dark horse on another evening. Tonight we got Dynamite, man. I don't know how you felt. We were talking a little bit in the sound check, and we were going over just our quick, in real time thoughts about tonight's show. You know, we come on here and we both sound like a broken record with little doses of hope and positivity. You know, I'm going to be honest with you guys, like I always am. Jesse knows that I'm honest. He knows me better than a lot of people. I don't like this show. In its current state, in its current iteration, I don't like this show. I don't want to use the word hate, because I think hate is a very strong word. I greatly dislike this show. There is legitimately, there's nothing for me on this show that appeals to me in a way that I want to watch excited every single week. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. But I will say this before I give Jesse the ball here. This was a lot better than last week's show, because last week's show we got zero progression for anything. Maybe out of 100%, we got 5% progression, which is nothing at all. This week, we got at least a show that flowed nicely and a show that at least did some to build towards All In. We got a couple of match announcements, but it's just honestly more of the same. There's no real dialogue. There's no real emotion in this show. It's all like, let's get an angle, let's get a segment to pretend like we're building to something and then move on to the next thing. I think I may be looking for something different. This show may have devolved into something that I don't want it to, because it wasn't this way years ago. I want dialogue. I want a reason to care outside of the norm. Jesse, they're not doing it for me right now. What do you think?
So, we were kind of chit-chatting about it before. I think, so it's almost like fatigue is setting in. You know, so like tonight's show was not a bad show by any stretch. I mean, it was a fine show. It was fine.
It was meh.
Yeah, it wasn't like, this is great. The show was fine, man. There was nothing wrong with the show. But the problem is, when you find yourself settling for shows like tonight, it kind of gets annoying. Oh crap, that's my mic. So goddamn loud. I'm serious, man.
You sound like fucking Will Ospreay talking to the opening segment, man. You couldn't even fucking hear him.
Bro, that's just how loud the input is, and it's that close to the mic. It's fucking feedback, man. But when you find yourself with a show where it's like, okay, this was acceptable, this was fine, this was doable, okay. Well, then you'll get a couple of weeks where it was like bad. So it was like, you're going to sit there and accept the mediocre show, and then you got to sit through a couple of weeks of bad shows. In the long run, it's kind of taxing on your patience as far as waiting for a great show. We have not had a great Dynamite in an extremely long time, and that can be tiresome.
Well, if you're Tony Khan, everything's great.
Well, yeah, no, the show's not great. The show's not great, and I'm just being honest.
Fucking Tony the Tiger out there. They're great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna close the chat here. I know your chat loves to hear negativity, so if I don't spew enough negativity, then I'm a glazer. So
we already went over this last week, bro. When I was on vacation from Parts Unknown, man, we already went over this. You are not paid by me to do negativity, bro. You are your own opinion, okay? No, I do not influence your opinion.
They want negativity, and I will point out some things that could have been done better on this show. But I'm not here tonight to say this was a horrible show and they shouldn't be in business and they all suck and it's all stupid. I'm not here for it. You know, the show could have been better. The show was very mid, but mid should not be the standard. And especially going into All In, we should be looking at greatness going into this show right now, man.
Yeah.
We should be looking into compelling, oh my God, I can't wait for this type shit coming out. You know, middle of the road is what I expect when there's nothing really going on, when we're like, you know, far away from our next pay-per-view and things like that. But this show was okay. The show was fine. It was not great. I would like some greatness before All In. I would have liked to have seen Kenny Omega this week. You know, I mean, if you want me to believe this match coming up with Okada is supposed to be legendary, I mean, we're looking at now 3 weeks without Kenny Omega in the build. That's not good.
Bro, that's lazy. I knew they were going to do that.
Yeah. You can't do that and convince me that this match is must see. This match is major. This match is, you know, on the flip side, we're looking at Tony Storm and Mercedes. They are putting some work into that. There's now some straight up hostility going on now. There's no more of the I respect you, you respect me bullshit. They're getting on each other's nerves now. It's getting a little bit personal. Hopefully that ramps up again. That's supposed to be a big match for them. But the Kenny Omega match, that's like you just said, that is pure laziness, man. You cannot write him off TV for most of the build and expect us to be hyped for the match. That's just not how builds work. That's just not how it works, man.
No, I knew they were going to do that. Yeah, you mentioned that everything is just feeling middle of the road for their biggest show of the year. That's exactly what it's coming off as. There is nothing that has been announced for this show that jumps off the page to me as, oh my God, I gotta see this.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
There's nothing that feels that way, and they're not putting any effort into making anything feel that way. Hangman and Jon Moxley has done the same thing with Hangman that he's done the last 8 months with everybody else that he's been in the ring with. Just coming out there, choking them out, numbers game, keeping the baby faces at bay, and that's it. Another week in which I firmly believe we are looking at a Jon Moxley title retention. I don't get the sense that Hangman is winning the championship at all. They have not. I mean, I understand that they're putting the cards against him, stacking the cards against him, but I don't feel like Hangman is going to win the championship. We'll talk about that a little bit later because I want to get Jesse's opinion on that. Then we got Mercedes and Tony Storm. You know, I do agree that they've now kind of turned up the volume a little bit instead of the I respect you, you respect me deal. And Mercedes is out at ringside eating fucking steak dinners with no sides. I'm glad that they finally have added a little bit of physicality to it. It is what it is. I mean, we saw them in the opening 5 minutes and then we never heard or seen from them again for the entire show. So, again, bare minimum, it's not really exciting outside of, oh, my God, it's Mercedes. Oh, my God, it's Tony. It's the biggest match we got. I'm not excited for it outside of two great women's professional wrestlers. Then you got the tag team match that they just announced tonight. We got the Hurt Syndicate and Jet Speed, more than likely, heading for the tag team championships. Another match that was announced tonight was Ospreay and Swerve versus the Young Bucks, and they added a stipulation to that where if Ospreay and Swerve beat the Young Bucks, they are no longer EVPs. The EVP title is on the line. Again, I'm not really excited about it. I just feel like it's Ospreay and Swerve together because there's nothing else for them to do, being that the World Championship is taken up by Moxley and Hangman, and the Bucks, they also have nothing to do. So it's a match where four guys have nothing to do outside of working with each other. Not really the most exciting thing that they could possibly go out there and do. And then we got the two gauntlet matches, which I'm excited for just based on the unpredictability because who knows who's going to show up or who's going to return. So all that has been announced so far. Does this feel like the biggest show of the year for AEW? No. And they're not doing anything to show you that it's the biggest show of the year outside of, oh my God, look, we got this match, we're putting this one over here and that one over there. There's legitimately no effort into any of these stories. And that's why I feel the way that I do. And this is the same feeling that we had going into WrestleMania. WWE is not going to escape the fucking criticism. They barely did anything that they needed to do going into WrestleMania. Most of the show was very lackadaisical. I don't know what's with these companies, their biggest show of the year, and they're not doing much of anything to get us excited outside of putting on great pro wrestling matches. Bro, we need more than that. And Jesse went over that last week beautifully. We need more than that. So far that the people clipped the show last week. I seen on social media, they didn't understand where he was coming from because they're too fucking stupid to even listen to a smart man's opinion that what is wrong with the show is exactly that. It's not exciting for me, man. I don't know what else to tell you. It's not.
Yeah, I don't understand the people who argue and get mad about the clip that got posted. I did read some of the comments there. I don't understand what their argument. Are they saying that the show is great? Are they saying that everything is fine? Because my reply would be, then why are all of the metrics down? Why is attendance down? Why are they doing a residency? Why are they struggling to fill smaller venues? Why are they booking smaller venues? Why are they, I famously don't, really want to use ratings as a standard, but that's another number that's down. Why are all of these numbers down if everything is so perfectly fine? That would be my only response, because if everything was as fine as they claim, then the numbers would not be down all around. Now, I'm going to watch it regardless because that's what we're supposed to do. That's our job, to watch the show. But if everything is fine, then why are people turning off the channel? Why are people turning the show off? Why are people not watching? Why are people not attending shows? Why are all these things happening in a downward spiral if everything is fine? I'm not even trying to, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in the clips that went up. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Maybe I'm wrong in my assessment. And if I am, then I am. But if I am, then you tell me, why are the numbers down? Why is everything trending downward if I am inaccurate? Because something has to be wrong.
Bro, they're just going to turn around and tell you that you're wrong and that you don't know anything. And the reason why they tell you the things that they tell you on social media is because you have actively now given yourself a platform, not only on this show, but on your own, to speak a very strong and valid opinion and go against everything that these people like. And when you say something that is remotely true, just a little bit, these people are going to look at you as the enemy. And that's what that's what they have now done. They've done that for me for as long as I've been on here, and now they're doing it to you. And that's what these people do on social media. You are right, and they are afraid of you being right because you can't come on here and say the thing that they love is bad.
I hate that so much. I mean, just be real with yourself. Don't say, "Oh, you're stupid. You're wrong because you're stupid." And
then they don't even give you a reason. They just say that.
Then you tell me. Then let's discuss it like human fucking being. Pretend we're out of the bar and we're having a drink and we're discussing it. Because I swear to you, if you sat there and said shit like that to me in my face while we're talking about wrestling in person, I would fuck you up. But so how about you discuss it like a human being? No, bro, you're not right. I think it's this and it's that. Okay. All right. I'm not saying whatever I say is 100% right. I'm telling you something's wrong with the product, and this is my thought as to what is wrong. If you think it's something else, let's hear it. But you can't tell me there's nothing wrong, because my first response would be, why are people changing their channels? Why are people not going to shows? What is the problem? Like you just said, 80,000 first time in Wembley.
We were there. We saw it firsthand.
We were there. Next time, a little bit more, a little bit less. This time, a little bit less. Why is the attendance going down? If everything is hunky goddamn dory, I'm saying it's because of bad creative. What do you think the problem is? Because if you tell me there isn't a problem, I have to question your goddamn intelligence.
Yeah.
Because something is wrong. Something is wrong. You can't tell me nothing's wrong, and you can't tell me it's the talent, because it's not the talent. So what is it?
I'd love to ask one of the sickos out there that I'm sure are watching both of us on this fine Wednesday night. Jesse and I were in Wembley Stadium with however many it was, 83, 78, whatever the fucking number was. We were there, and I legitimately had vertigo for 5 hours with the amount of fucking people that were around me, man, and the sheer size of that building and the amount of people that were in that building. I didn't feel good until we actually went out afterwards to have a couple of drinks and left the building. 83,000, 78,000 people, whatever it is, for the first All In, okay? That's at Wembley Stadium. Unbelievable achievement, unbelievable accomplishment. It was a great fucking show. The following year, they did the same building and ran 55,000, and I thought last year's show was better than the one we went to. And now this year, the third installment of this show running stadiums, because they want to feel like they need a WrestleMania for themselves, they're not even at 20,000 fucking people. And I'm sure if there's 17 days to go, they will break 20, no doubt about it. They may even get close to 25. But how the fuck do you go from a sheer number of 78,000 to 55,000 to 20 to 25,000 in year 3 and not look at that as a fucking problem? This is the United States of America, okay? The United States. We're not talking about fucking United Kingdom here. The United States of America, the home base for this fucking company, and you can't fill a place with 40,000 maximum seat capacity where the Texas Rangers play. That is a fucking unbelievable disappointment. I don't know how you look at it as an achievement. How?
It is. It is. I mean, the numbers
So what's
are going,
like Jesse's saying, what's wrong? What's the problem?
Wrong? Something's wrong. You can't tell me nothing is wrong. You're delusional and you're lying to yourself if you think nothing is wrong. Everything's fine. You are that mean. You are that dog sitting there in a fucking apartment on fire, sitting there. Everything is fine.
Yep.
Everything is fine. Everything is not fine. So what is wrong? You tell me if it's not creative. What, is it the talent? They have a top-notch roster. If I had that roster to book, boy, it'd be a kid in a candy store. You can't get a better roster than that. Both WWE, phenomenal roster. Both companies have great fucking roster. There was enough wrestlers out there to support 3 or 4 American goddamn wrestling companies. The talent is great. So why is the product going down? Something is wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me what it is then. Don't tell me it's nothing, and don't tell me it's the talent.
You know, you got two guys here that have physically been to more AEW shows than a lot of people, and I've been to a few with this guy sitting right next to me in Chicago, mind you. This guy was at Rampage when CM Punk showed up based on a fucking rumor and sold out the United Center. This guy was there getting his fucking ice cream bar.
Get my ice cream bar.
Jesse and Chicago is the second home of AEW. Has Chicago and the wrestling scene for AEW even been anything close? And I know how you feel about Punk. Anything close to the fucking feeling that was then in Chicago for this company? No. I would say no, right?
No. It is.
How?
It is not.
Chicago's probably the best wrestling city in the United States. And that's the way people in Chicago are feeling. They can't, and they have a residency coming up where they're filling what? 2,000 fucking seat music halls. This place was selling out fucking United Center 18,000 on a fucking word of mouth rumor.
The United Center is the biggest goddamn stadium or arena. Sorry, the arena in Chicago.
How do you look at that and then fucking run residencies in music halls for a fucking week? What are you, stupid? There's a problem.
There's a problem.
We're not the problem.
People like Dax and everybody else who want to go around and complain about podcasters, look yourself in the goddamn mirror, bro. Because if we are wrong, then you should be selling out the Soldier Field. You should be selling out fucking huge arena. I mean, you're not doing you're not selling out stadiums. You're not doing any of this shit. You are degressing. Your stadium capacities are going downhill. You can stop booking All In a stadium next year. You'll be lucky if we get All In a bingo hall in 2026. It's not looking good. And creative is the problem.
They're going back to Wembley next year. Bro, Wembley's going to be fucking 90,000 deep, bro. They're going to fill fucking 20,000 in Wembley Stadium, man.
Look, man, they don't get American wrestling in overseas very often. So they show up. All right. They didn't get it this year, so maybe next year but look, man, if you have to go overseas to fill stadiums, put it like this. Run Wembley once a month and see how that shit works out for you. You can't. I'll be shocked if they get 50,000 next year. I'll be shocked.
Point of the story is The reason why we're discussing this is because the show does not feel exciting. They're not bad shows, because how could you have a bad show with the sheer talent on this show, like Jesse said? This is the same topic of discussion every week. It's not the wrestler's fault. It's the fucking people booking this show. And that's the problem. It's not exciting. This is the biggest show of the year, and they're not doing anything to fucking enhance that excitement. It's just, let's throw these matches out there because this is what we do. It's not the way it needs to be. It needs to be more. Now, that is what we feel about the current product, and we got 3 weeks to go, less than 3 weeks to go, until All In. Tonight, Jesse, was a much better show than last week from Grand Slam Mexico. What was the biggest takeaway for you tonight in Seattle?
Ooh, man. I'm never prepared for this goddamn question. I don't know why. I watched the whole goddamn show. I mean, in the main event, we had Beast Mortos. Biggest takeaway is you want to push date Mercedes. That's what you got to fucking do.
Well, I was told she don't have creative control, bro.
Yeah. There's that.
Gee, I wonder why he's in the main event for a second week in a row, mind you, folks. The Beast Mortos is in the main event 2 weeks in a row. And apparently he's like an honorary, unofficial member of the fucking Death Riders now.
This fucking guy, man. I don't get it, but whatever.
18 days before All In, and fucking Beast Mortos is in the main event. And then you wonder why this show is in the situation it's in right now. Go ahead.
Biggest takeaway is we finally got the official announcement. A match that was pretty much predicted by everyone and rumored by sites like Fightful and everything else. But then they're called hacks and don't know any goddamn thing. Well, now we got the match. Okay, so it's the Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve. It's a good match. No, it's fine. I don't like how it's in position to be a bigger tag match than the tag team title match that we also just got announced tonight. But it's fine. It's fine. The Bucks should be in contention for the tag team titles, but they don't give a shit about those for some reason right now. But it's fine. But we're getting the match. EVP ship on the line. It's a little unbelievable. It kind of makes the match a little predictable, if you ask me, because what are we talking about here? Well, if Swerve and Ospreay win, they're gonna be the EVPs going forward. I know it's all kayfabe, but even in kayfabe land, are we talking about you're gonna be booking Swerve and Will Ospreay as EVPs of the company going forward? It kind of makes no sense.
Well, I mean, if the Young Bucks lose their EVP titles, what are they going to do on television? It's their whole fucking gimmick.
It's the whole shtick. They could have put them on the line and just said, if the Bucks lose, they lose them. They lose their EVP titles. I'm not going to give them to Swerve. No one's going to believe that Swerve and Hangman are actually EVPs.
Bro,
or that you're going to book them as EVPs.
Bro, all they needed to do, I mean, this started off as them or at least Ospreay anyway, because he was going to convince Swerve to help Hangman. Ospreay wants to help Hangman take down Jon Moxley. The Young Bucks are working with the Death Riders and Jon Moxley and trying to have Moxley retain the championship over Hangman. Swerve needs some convincing to help Hangman, which he's already said, no, I won't do that. What would have made this a lot more interesting, and I'm sure if you're smart and watch Pro Wrestling Weekly, you may come up with this solution here to make this match better. The EVP title doesn't do anything unless, like Jesse said, Ospreay and Swerve become the EVPs, which we know they're not. This is their whole gimmick, the Young Bucks. They rebranded themselves coming back to television as the EVPs, as the founding fathers. So that's not going away. What they needed to do is if Swerve and Ospreay win, then the Young Bucks cannot, under any circumstances, show up in the main event and help Jon Moxley win the World's Heavyweight or retain the World's Heavyweight Championship. That would have been the most unpredictable thing you could possibly ask for, because if the Bucks lose, then what happens? Who's going to help Jon Moxley? Who's going to run out there if it's not the Young Bucks? That would be something that would have really made the match a little bit more unpredictable and played into the entire story that they have been trying to tell on television, which seemingly they've gone away from.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, I do appreciate, we said this before the stream, I do appreciate the fact that AEW is aware that just booking this match by itself is not enough. There needs to be something on the line, some kind of stipulation. So they did give it a stipulation. So that's good. That's good. I can appreciate that. It gives us some kind of investment into the match. Now, how believable that stipulation is, I'm not too sure. We'll see. But I don't know about you guys. I'm not sitting here thinking that well, maybe Swerve and Ospreay are gonna be EVPs. Okay, well then what? Going forward, they're just forever EVPs? Or is that now they got to put those titles back on the line at the next pay-per-view? Is the EVP jobs a second set of tag titles, basically? That's the part where it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So if Swerve and Ospreay win, then what? They're EVPs forever. How do they lose it? They got to put that in the... It makes no sense. I appreciate that there's a stipulation, but it needs to be a little bit more believable than this one because it makes the match one-sided. I don't expect the Young Bucks to lose that. I expect them to win the match now.
I just had somebody tweet me. And the reason why this match is happening is because there's nothing for Ospreay to do. There's nothing for Swerve to do. There's nothing for the Bucks to do. So it's four guys with nothing to do because the World Championship match has already been decided upon. They have nothing to do, so the best thing for them to do is all work together. That's it. So they have to manufacture a storyline.
The match makes sense as far as, why it's not like they have no match, so put them in a match, done. No,
Sure.
I mean, they've been intertwined over the last few months. I mean, the match makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this match at Grand Slam in New York City at Arthur Ashe Stadium last year. It was basically this match with Ospreay and Swerve is here now, and Kyle Fletcher teamed with Ospreay in New York last September. It's basically the same match. So,
okay.
So I had somebody tweet me. He says, and he quote tweets the live stream because we're live on X as well. He says, and this is exactly who Jesse was talking about in his opening monologue here. And I just find it funny how people are just so fucking tone deaf and so fucking stupid. He says, I just can't for the life of... Mikey Hills is his name. Hey, Mikey, how you doing, bro? I just for the life of me can't figure out what was so bad about tonight's show and why he is being like this. And no, I'm not going to watch. So you're tweeting me live. You're tweeting Jesse and me live while I'm live on my show. You don't understand why we're feeling the way that we do, yet you want to cry to me on social media while I'm live on YouTube. Meanwhile, if you watched the show, you would have understood why we're upset and why we're not excited about the fucking show happening in Texas. This is exactly who Jesse was talking about. And on cue, like flies to fucking shit, they just show up. And then they say the same thing that they do all the time. Oh, I'm not going to watch you guys. Well, if you do, you'll get some education as to why we're not excited. It's very simple.
You watch just long enough to find something to bitch about and be wrong about, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. Thanks for watching, though.
Swerve and Ospreay, Young Bucks announced for the show in Texas on July 12th. We'll go over it. We also got the Hurt Syndicate defending the Tag Team Championship. Supposedly, we don't really even know if it's a match yet. I guess we'll find out on Collision, which airs tomorrow at 8 p.m. We have the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed. That's Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. I do agree with Jesse that the Young Bucks Tag Team match is more important than the actual AEW Tag Team Championships. It should be the other way around. But I'm not booking the fucking show. We'll talk about Mercedes and Tony Storm. They got things started tonight. We got Hangman and Jon Moxley once again. Same old shit like clockwork. No real dialogue, no real progression. It's just a random Death Riders attack, and it builds intrigue that Hangman is fighting from behind because of the numbers game. And we had two gauntlet matches, one better than the other. It was the men and the women to find out who is the number one draw in the men's and women's gauntlet match. And in that women's match, Athena has risen from Irrelevancy and has finally made her way back to Dynamite, which is a great thing to see. So we'll talk about all that and so much more today on the AEW Dynamite stream right here on Off the Script. I want to thank you guys for a great week so far. Monday was great. And then last night, you guys absolutely, and I mean fucking nuked TNT, man. You guys absolutely just killed with support. We did almost 3,000 people live. We celebrated 100 episodes with the Solid Monster. Super chats were, I think, the most we've ever had on Tuesday night. Jason and I are so grateful to have the communities that we do. And we've come together to create something really special on Tuesday night. So if you guys missed that, go and check it out. It's on the homepage if you guys want the video, and it's on Spotify, iTunes, and all other audio platforms if you guys want the audio. 4 hours of TNT, man. Some great discussion, some great laughs. Go check it out. Go follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Go follow Jesse on Twitter as well. He's not on there as much as I am, but he's on there at Chi-Town Smark. You guys want to go follow him and his live reactions and news. He's now doing news and rumors. Go subscribe to his channel. I linked his channel down below in the description. What's going on with everything on your end, bro?
Bro, we gotta work on our fucking content, man.
I know.
We gotta scheduling and all that shit is a pain in the ass. This guy has stuff going on. I've got stuff going on. We have our regular stuff going on. It's hard to add more stuff, but we're working on it. But yeah, I am doing news and rumors reactions, fresh reactions. I actively stay away from social media, as he just said. I don't go around reading all of the news sites, but I do live on stream, and I'll give live raw reactions to the news and rumors and everything going around the wrestling community, live on stream. So join me usually on days that I'm not doing live streams. So you can find me normally on Tuesdays, Thursdays. Like tomorrow it won't be news and rumors. It's gonna be Collision. Watching Collision live on Thursday, man.
I will not be watching.
What?
I will not be watching, man.
You don't have to. You know why?
Because you watch Collision, because I don't have to. There you go.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Speaking of which, if you guys want Collision Corner, it will return tonight if you guys want it. 1,000 likes is the goal for that, but that might be a stretch, being that everybody seemingly is bored with this fucking show. So if you guys want Collision Corner, I'm going to lower it. 900 likes, and we'll get Collision Corner. We're already halfway there. So make sure you guys go and do that. Collision Corner, and as soon as we hit that, we'll break into Collision Corner tonight. Make sure you guys go check out all the content on the channel. Hit that thumbs up, please. Super chats are open. Make sure you guys get them on, and it's the best way to support what we do here. And please leave a comment as well if you made it this far. Comments help us out a long way as well. Pushes us into the YouTube algorithm. Dynamite started things off tonight with Toni Storm walking into the building, which we then saw Mercedes Moné, very angry Mercedes Moné. She attacked Toni Storm as she was walking into the building with Luther. This ambush continued as Moné looked into the camera saying, "Welcome to Dynamite," before tossing Toni Storm into some production crates and then onto the ramp in the arena. Moné, she takes a microphone from one of the attendants and then shoves her down. She takes the microphone and calls Toni Storm a bitch and applies the statement maker as she's yelling at Toni Storm that she's nothing more than a stupid act. Referees, Christopher Daniels, come and try to break things up here. And Mina Shirakawa runs out to make the save here. Mina and Luther make the save as Moné retreats, but says to Storm, "Darling, let the games begin." That was the way Dynamite started. We didn't see Mercedes, we didn't see Toni or anybody involved here for the rest of the show. Now, they did announce, with Mina's appearance here to save Toni Storm, Jesse, they did announce Mercedes defending the TBS title next week on Dynamite 300 against Mina Shirakawa, which we all know she's not losing the TBS title before we get to All In Texas, because that would be ridiculous if Mercedes loses a fucking match and takes a loss before Toni Storm. That's ridiculous. But they did announce that match, and that's the way Dynamite started. It was a lot better than what we got at Grand Slam Mexico. It was a lot better than the past couple weeks with Mercedes eating steak dinners on the outside while sitting next to the commentary booth. It added a little bit of heat to the feud, but, man, we need a lot more, man. With 18 days to go, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to heat it up storyline-wise to make me care enough outside of it being two great women wrestlers wrestling for the biggest prize in the company.
Yeah, it was a hot start to the show. You know, let's start there. It kind of caught me off guard. It was a nice hot start to the show. They could have followed up on it. I mean, I'm not trying to say, waste a whole lot of TV time on one feud, but I don't know. Just could have had just a quick pull apart brawl. You could have had Renee interviewing somebody else, and in the background you see these two still fucking fighting over that intro, over that start of that show because Toni Storm got mad. Just add a little bit more salt onto it. But that was a nice hot start to the show. I did like that. But they definitely could have touched on it at least once more later on in the show. Like, these motherfuckers still fighting back there. What the hell?
Yeah.
Have someone send them both home. Like, you guys got to get the fuck out of here. You're disrupting the show. You guys got to go. Something, a little bit more. The opening was good. The beat down, the attack, all of that shit was nice. But again, this is a special match. This is a high profile match. Sprinkle a little bit more seasoning on it throughout the show. At least once more. Would have made it a little bit better. But it was fine. It was good.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they didn't string them out throughout the entire part of the show, like at least for the first hour, until it just gets so chaotic that they get booted out of the fucking building. That would be something as simple to continue building heat for the feud instead of doing it for the first 5 minutes of the show and then not referencing it or mentioning it again for the rest of the 2 hours. That's just lazy to me. I mean, if it's Mercedes and Tony, have them go at it again. If it's Mercedes and Mina, have them go at it again. Being that you're doing this match next week, give me some intrigue as to want to see Mina and Mercedes next week. They didn't do that outside of a match announcement. This is what I'm talking about with them just skating on by and on cruise control just because this is the biggest women's match that they have ever. You need more than that, man. You need more than that.
That's a good point, too. Since we all know who's winning next week with Mercedes and Mina. I mean, you can bet the farm on that one. Why not have Mina sneak up on Mercedes and attack the shit out of her for doing what she did to Tony? And leave Mercedes, jump blindsided by Mina, have Mina stand tall, because next week she's fucking losing.
Yes.
We all know that.
Yes, there's just no effort. There's no excitement to anything. I mean, they feel like all they need to do is book wrestling matches and do nothing else. I mean, it's have fun with it. It's not. It almost seems like they're not having fun with it. It's almost like they don't want to do any more than the bare minimum. I hate that. I really do. If anybody wants to skate by and just do the bare minimum, man, you ain't going nowhere and you're not going to be successful. Just going to be a fucking loser who skates through life. That's it. I don't find this to be interesting at all. It did start to show off in a very unpredictable and hot start. And then we go from that and we go to the Young Bucks. They immediately interrupt on the big screen. They interrupt commentary's opening rundown of the show. They're on the big screen as they use their influence backstage to bump Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, who were supposed to wrestle at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. They bumped them up an hour earlier. So their match, instead of taking place at 9, is now opening the show, and they use their power to get the match card changed. So we already have, and this is what really boggled my mind, if it was something that they made up on the fly, don't you think their opponents were also surprised by this announcement and they should have been, in the same way, rushing out there, unprepared, et cetera, et cetera? We had, who was it? Lee Johnson and Vanilla Baby as their opponents tonight, and they were already in the ring waiting. It's like, how the fuck did they know the announcement before the Young Bucks made the announcement? Did they get clued in on something? Why were they out there?
No, the Bucks told them to give them a heads up, to give them a head start. Hopefully,
is that what happened? Was that explained tonight?
I'll take that as sure. I mean, but at least the guys they were trying to dig over weren't ready.
Yes, I did appreciate the little attention to detail, which you don't really find a lot on this show. Ospreay came out running. He was in a t-shirt. His boots were unlaced. He was still taping his wrists. Yeah. So they came out as if they were unprepared. I do appreciate that. So, little.
Hey, Lee, Blake, get dressed. Y'all going on right now.
Well, I mean, again, we should have seen something like that happen backstage. Earlier in the day. Yeah. Hey, you guys are going on first. Why? We got the match at the top of the 9 o'clock. Trust us. You're going out there first. Make sure you're ready. Okay.
Yeah. And don't say shit to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So I do appreciate the little minor attention to detail. We got this match: Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland versus Vanilla Baby, Blake Christian, and Lee Johnson. Match was fine. It ultimately meant nothing. I don't know why anybody would think that Ospreay and Swerve were going to lose this match. So Ospreay signaled to Swerve, who took out Vanilla Baby with a house call. That was before Ospreay hit a hidden blade on Lee Johnson. And the house call on Vanilla Baby for the win. Post-match, security had to separate Strickland and Ospreay from the Bucks, who came out during the match, and their music played for a little bit, and they tried to act as distraction for Swerve and Ospreay. So security had to separate all four of these guys. Strickland took the microphone and said they're not going another year with this crap. The franchise and the feeling against the Young Bucks at All In. Ospreay said the Bucks might be the founding fathers of AEW, but it's the people that supported them. That's the reason why AEW exists in the first place. Ospreay believes that they're all done with the power the Bucks have been abusing, as they've been making it more harm than good. At All In, Ospreay says to put the EVP titles on the line, as Strickland flew off the top and comes off the top, taking out the Bucks and the security with a swerve stomp. The Bucks eventually run off before answering the challenge officially. So it is official. It is the Bucks, Swerve, Ospreay with the titles of EVP on the line. Now, we don't know if that means Swerve and Ospreay, if they win, they are the EVPs, or what's going to happen there. But like I said, we discussed it earlier in the show. I would have not done that because it's just too predictable. The Bucks' whole gimmick is EVPs. They got moves named after the fact that they are EVPs. You know, they are not booking the show. We all know Tony's booking the show, but I guess that they are booking the show in some capacity on air when they so want to do something like that. But I feel like if they added, and I'm going to say this again, I feel like if they added the stipulation of being that we've gotten to this point and the whole premise is they did it for the Hangman and then they're attacking Hangman and now they're working for the Death Riders. If they win, Ospreay and Swerve, the Bucks are not allowed to interfere in the main event in any capacity. That would have been a lot better than the EVP titles because at least that would have cast some unpredictability over the match. This, not so much.
Yeah. Again, I like that there's a stipulation. Let's just try to make. I would have tried to make it a little bit more believable. You know, like you just said, if the Bucks lose, then they're stripped of their EVP titles. They're done being EVPs. They're just a regular tag team. But I don't believe that Swerve and what the fuck? And Swerve and Ospreay are gonna be EVPs. I just don't believe it. So I mean, just tell me that the Bucks get stripped of their EVP titles if they lose, great. But then if they win, what happens to Swerve and Ospreay? I don't know. You know, then they something. I don't fucking know. But you got to convince me that Swerve and Ospreay are gonna be EVPs, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. And I understand it's all kayfabe, but not even in kayfabe land am I to believe that creative is gonna be sitting here booking Swerve and Ospreay as EVPs, and that's just not going to happen. Now I can see the Bucks being stripped of EVP titles, you know, on camera. I could see it. That's fine. They don't have to be EVPs. They can just switch it up. Maybe that's why they go for tag team titles and, you know, instead. You know, who fucking knows? But for right now, you got to make this match believable, and I just don't believe that Swerve and Ospreay are gonna be EVPs in the company. So so now I'm just led to believe the Bucks are just going to win, just to make it easier on creative going forward.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, the match should be fine. Am I invested in what these four guys are doing? I'm not. I can't bring myself to care. Matthew and Nicholas, we're backstage after this call out by Swerve and Ospreay. They both called Strickland a dumbass for what he did. Matt said he just put his hands on an AEW official, being that they're both EVPs, and suspends him for a week without pay. So not only do we have Kenny Omega off of the entire build for All In, now we're suspending Swerve Strickland via storyline, and we're going to be without him for a week. Great. Love it. So in comes Okada. He walks in with Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta. Matt Jackson tells Romero they like them, but his boss, Don Callis, is kind of a jerk. He says by any means necessary, they need to make Okada the first unified champion at All In, and they need to destroy Kenny Omega. But start with Kota Ibushi tonight. Beretta says he's going to dismantle Ibushi, which delighted the Bucks as everyone walked away, except Takeshita, who stayed behind as everybody walked away and had a face-to-face with Okada. Takeshita reminded Okada that this camaraderie here, this pairing, is only temporary. So Okada walked away talking to himself and smirking as he walks off with the Continental Championship. Now, this is obviously something we talked about last night. If you guys watched TNT, we talked about the potential of Okada and Takeshita at some point. And Jason and I talked about the building blocks and the seeds of breaking Takeshita away from the Don Callis family and making him a babyface, leaving the group. Because what's the point of having Takeshita and Okada in the same group when everybody looked at Takeshita as the next Okada? So I love, and this is where I'm going to be positive for once tonight, I love the idea that we're building towards a Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada match, because if you want the next Okada, you got him in Takeshita. Takeshita is one of the most complete pro wrestlers on the face of the fucking planet. He's the perfect pro wrestler outside of the language barrier. He is the perfect professional wrestler. Don't know how his star is not bigger than it is right now in AEW. And that, if they build to that in any capacity, whether it happens as a regular feud and a title match, or they meet and it's something that they do in the Continental Classic this year, I fucking love the idea of Takeshita and Okada, Jesse.
Same. Small problem, though. Okada needs to put Takeshita over.
Yes.
So, is he going to become the unified champion and then lose to Takeshita?
Omega is winning the unified championship.
So now Okada's going to lose 2 feuds in a row?
Well, he was only brought in for this particular match with Omega. Outside that, I don't think anybody cares.
That's why I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do. So you're going to have him lose to Kenny, which is fine. To be honest with you, whoever wins that match between Omega and Okada, it's fine. But what happens after that as far as Okada and Takeshita? Are you going to have Okada lose twice? Or is Okada then going to beat Takeshita when Takeshita should be going over Okada?
I don't know. At least it gives us an unpredictable situation, because we know how, when he wants to, how unbeatable Okada is. And if that is going to be the problem here, I would take that as being a good problem.
Yeah.
So it's not so predictable, where everything in this company is very, very predictable. So I like that. I think that is a great start here. And I'm glad that they're planting the seeds for an eventual showdown between those two. Speaking of Omega, his golden lover, Kota Ibushi, he went one-on-one with Trent Beretta. This is Kota Ibushi's first match back in a year and a half. He's back on AEW television. This was obviously, again, predictable, very self-explanatory here. Kota Ibushi wins. This was a hard-hitting match, very, very short, nothing bad here. Nice, reminder here for what Ibushi needs to do in AEW. So we'll pick it up towards the end here. There was a Snapdragon by Beretta that landed Ibushi right on his fucking head. I mean, his first match back is already getting dropped on his head.
Yoink.
Ibushi no-sold it, because he always does. Planted Beretta with a Snapdragon of his own. Crowd got behind Ibushi, chanting his name. They trade close near falls until Beretta hits a Rainmaker variation. Ibushi blocked a big shot by Beretta, dragged Beretta to the mat, and hit a huge double stomp before nailing Beretta with a V-trigger and a Kamigoye for the win. So that was basically it. Ibushi, before he could celebrate, the coin drop sounded, and out comes Okada. He walks to the ring. They have a face-to-face stare down before he walks away. We're told Tony Khan made it official during this segment. It will be Kota Ibushi versus Kazuchika Okada next week on Dynamite 300. Now, we did talk briefly how we don't like Kenny Omega being out for the extension of the build for All In. I think next week would be the perfect opportunity to bring Kenny Omega back, because Kota Ibushi, realistically, Jesse, he's going out there with the prize piece of the Don Callis family and Kazuchika Okada now. And the Don Callis family, it seems like half the fucking roster is a member of the Don Callis family. I sense a numbers beatdown here on Ibushi, only for Kenny Omega to come back and be the conquering hero to take everybody out. And I feel like he's going to be the one to save the day for Ibushi next week. I'm hoping that's the case, because it would give him next week and then the go-home show back on television. But if they keep him off television next week, man, What a fucking mistake, man. And that is unbelievably lazy.
Yeah, but Okada has to win.
Okada has to win, yes.
So Omega's going to come back to a losing effort, because Okada has to win against Ibushi.
He has to win.
He's got to win. Maybe he comes out after the match. But I agree, Kenny Omega needs to come back next week. He should have came back this week.
Well, they're selling him spitting up chili paste for several weeks now. So that's what it is.
I don't like that extended absence during this build. I mean, that's just. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe they have a plan. Maybe that's a reason why. Who knows? But I can't imagine a world where I'm gonna come back later and say, man, that's a good thing Omega sat out this long, because now I'm more interested in the feud. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm not any more interested in the feud with him being out.
No, bringing in Ibushi is not going to get me more interested in a fight between Omega and Okada.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
No. Kota Ibushi, I don't know if he's going to find himself onto the All In card. I would assume he would, being that he is a major player here, especially in the Kenny Omega lore and with Okada. I don't know if they want to get Takeshita in a match on All In. I know he may be ready for the Gauntlet match, being that he was in the match to determine the number one spot. So he may be in the Gauntlet match. Ibushi may be in the Gauntlet match, and they may have something to do with each other there. But if they want to do something in a one-on-one capacity, I would love to see Takeshita versus Ibushi at All In if they want to do something like that. But they may just put both of them in the Gauntlet match. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley, he was sitting in a stairwell, and this might have painted a picture for what's to come. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit too heavy into the conspiracy theories here, but the stairwell, Jesse, looked very similar to the one that they threw Darby Allin down before he went to go climb Mount Everest. Remember that?
No.
No?
The promo he did before he left?
Yeah.
Nah.
Remember when Claudio stomped him and they threw him down the staircase?
Oh, I thought that was outdoors.
No, that was inside. That was inside a stairwell.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an outdoor stairwell.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Look very similar. We may be painting a picture for something to come at All In. I don't know. So he's in the stairwell, and he said, the only thing we have is the present moment, and it slips through our fingers like sand, which Paige has lost 1,000 times before. But here it's back in his hands again. Moxley said Paige is afraid to become what the world needs him to be, as he's not so special. Moxley isn't special either. For someone like Moxley, someone like Paige makes him look absolutely sick, and he has no sympathy for his crybaby emo crap. The world champion doesn't take a single ounce of crap from anyone. Paige shies away from the gifts he's been given, but he's not what the fans think he is. While Paige is debating personal turmoil, Moxley doesn't care about what he's playing around with. As All In, he'll lay him out with forearms and choke him out. After All In, Paige will be left looking for another job. Again, I'm not excited about anything that Moxley has to say, and I'm not any more excited about Moxley and Adam Page for the world title.
No, and look, man, Moxley's one of the best in the world at cutting promos.
He's great.
All right, the promo was great, guys. I mean, you might hear a reaction like the promo sucked. Moxley's one of the best in the world. He's, to me, the way that Moxley cuts his promos, like the second coming of Jake the Snake Roberts. You know, he's methodical about it. He's sinister about it. You know, he's fucking great. But he's enthralled in this whole storyline that we have no interest in. So you can be passionate and great at a promo, but the substance, the purpose, the whole being of it, you've lost us. This whole Death Rider storyline has lost everyone. No one is overly interested in it. So what he's saying, the way he delivers it, great. The delivery of it was fantastic. It's what he gave us. And what he's talking about, we just don't care. We don't care.
Don't care. Do not care at all. No. Renee, she's backstage with AR Fox, saying he has a lot of momentum AR Fox has a lot of momentum, Jesse. Is this true, being that he's Mr. Collision? Does he have a lot of momentum?
I don't remember him winning much of anything, no.
So what momentum are we talking about here?
No clue. No clue.
I don't know.
He's on TV a lot.
I maybe that's the thing. I don't know.
He's on TV a lot.
He lost to John Moxley on Collision last week, so what type of momentum are we talking about, Renee? Ricochet interrupts and says Fox has momentum. Maybe Ricochet is on whatever Dax Harwood's on. I have no idea. Too much tequila, maybe. He said Fox has momentum and says he has everything he's been looking for to help him get gold in AEW. Ricochet invites Fox to team up with him tonight against Jet Speed. And before Fox could answer, he put his hand out in a way where he was about to shake Ricochet's hand, but it wasn't because he wanted to shake Ricochet's hands. His hand was just out in a very welcoming way. And Ricochet shook his hands and thanked him for accepting, even though Fox, in that moment, did not want to accept Ricochet's offer for a tag team tonight against Jet Speed. I don't know what's going on with Ricochet, bro, but Ricochet going into the biggest show of the year after the year that he's had. They put him in some big-time matches against Ospreay, against Takeshita, against Swerve, and he feels absolutely lifeless going into All In, man, especially with the heel turn where you and I really praised him for turning over that high-flying attitude and just becoming something different where he needed to be something different in AEW. All this work he's done, and now he feels the most directionless he's felt going into the biggest show of the year, man. How do you feel about that?
So his heel work has been great. Again, not on social media, but on TV, it's been great. He's been funny. His matches are still good, and the heel gimmick is working. But he has been. It does feel like he's been put in the back burner. I feel like he's on the back burner because, a lot of time, and MJF feels like he's the victim of this. A lot of times, when you have, like, say, the world title scene and it's all wrapped up in this Death Rider shit, for example, well, why isn't MJF in the world title scene? Because the Death Rider situation is all tied up with Hangman and Swerve and with Ospreay. So MJF is on the back burner. I feel like Ricochet's on the back burner for a couple of these mid titles right now because they're waiting for like things like Kenny and Okada to finish up and shit like that. And they are looking to get a stable behind Ricochet, and I do believe it's the Good Brothers. I think it's Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So maybe there's a waiting period to bring these guys in. I know they showed up in New Japan, right?
Well, I don't know if they're still under a WWE non-compete for 90 days. I don't think so. Or if it is, that's probably coming to an end very soon. But I know Carl Anderson was released while injured because WWE fucking released him while he was injured, which is fucked up. So hopefully he is on the mend there. I'm assuming they're just waiting for Carl Anderson to get clearance and be 100%.
That's probably the case too.
Yeah.
But I also believe they could be waiting for other storylines to wrap up with titles that Ricochet is probably in the hunt for. Like we say, if Kenny Omega wins against Okada and becomes unified champion, I could absolutely see a Kenny Omega and Ricochet feud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that could be a future play. I think Ricochet is fine. It's just that creative doesn't know what to do with people as they wait for other things to unfold, at least anything of interest, because Ricochet is pretty much just bouncing around doing much of nothing right now. But I do believe there's plans for him. But I think after we turn at All In, I think some of these things will unfold. Same for MJF too.
I hope so. So yeah, Ricochet, he teams with AR Fox reluctantly. AR Fox teams with Ricochet against Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight. They needed to put these two guys together because they don't really have much in the way of the tag team division. So they needed someone to look like credible opponents to the Hurt Syndicate. And we'll pick it up here, middle of the match. We have Ricochet bailing on AR Fox. AR Fox obviously in this thing, thinking that Ricochet is going to be there for him. He leapt for a tag, and Ricochet jumped down off the apron, left him high and dry, starts walking out. Kevin Knight hits a standing dropkick sky high on Fox before going for the UFO splash to get the win on Ricochet's team as he walked away. So AR Fox takes the losing pinfall here. So Fox was left alone. Jet Speed walked up the ramp to Tony Schiavone, who called them a red-hot tag team in the tag team division. Bayley said the tag team titles have been held hostage, and it's time someone comes to their rescue. Kevin Knight said the titles need to come home around the waists of Jet Speed. He tried mocking MVP's old theme song, but they were blindsided by the Hurt Syndicate, who beat the shit out of both Bayley. Yes, they did. Both Mike Bayley and Kevin Knight. As MJF and MVP are out there watching the chaos happen, they're applauding as Lashley and Benjamin. They set up a table in the aisleway, and they get choke slammed, does Jet Speed. Bayley gets choke slammed through Kevin Knight, through the table. And then they get their proper entrance. Their theme music hits, and they walk to the ring. MVP took the microphone and said, now that they've taken care of that piece of business, they told the production music that the production truck did their music. They make their way to the ring. And MVP did a roll call as he begs someone to stand up to the tag team champions. Well, you just had two guys that did, and you took care of them. If Jet Speed can even stand up after that beating, he'll be willing to give them a title opportunity at All In, on the condition that they get up and that they can walk. MVP turns the microphone over to, now he calls MJF the young genius. MJF, who talked about unmasking and defeating Mystico. MVP stopped MJF briefly, riled up the crowd a little bit more, healing it up, telling them to shut up and insulting the fans, saying that they haven't seen a star since the days of the Supersonics in Seattle. MJF says he's going to enter a qualifying match next week for the Casino Gauntlet, on another step back to what is rightfully his, not Dictator John's and not the Crooked Cowboy Hangman, but his AEW World Championship Triple B. Now, I found this to be quite confusing, Jesse. I knew that MJF wasn't going to wrestle Mystico at All In because that's just ridiculous. I figured he'd be in the gauntlet match to get at least an opportunity to win an opportunity at the World Championship. But have we ever seen anyone get a qualifying match? I don't really recall anybody. I might be wrong here. I don't know. But MJF, why would he out of everybody need a qualifying match 2 weeks to go before All In?
Oh, I got one better than that. The guy lobbied for weeks to get into the Hurt Syndicate so that he could somehow get their help for him to get his Triple B back. But instead, he just could have done the Owen and got his Triple B shot through there. But he chose not to do that. He didn't want to do a fucking tournament. So now that he's in the Hurt Syndicate, he's going to enter a tournament to try to get Triple B back. Make it make sense, please.
So what Jesse's trying to say here is MJF very vehemently said he didn't want to wrestle in the Owen because he's going to take the easy way into getting a world championship match by aligning himself with the Hurt Business or the Hurt Syndicate. That was too much for him. So instead of doing that, which would have been a lot easier than what he's doing now because he would only have to wrestle 3 times, he's got to wrestle once to even get in there. If he doesn't win, he loses, and he is not in the gauntlet match. He's got to beat one guy, Jesse, to get into a match that theoretically probably has 12 or 13 other men in the same match. How is that easier than what he would have done in the Owen? Like Jesse says, make it make sense. Did they forget what he said weeks ago? Max is not a dummy. He knows what he said. Why did they have him go out there and say that?
Seems to me he could have made this a lot easier on himself. He wouldn't have had to kiss these guys' asses to get into their fucking faction to get what he wanted. But he did. He got what he wanted. And now he's going to enter himself into a fucking tournament, which is what he didn't want to do originally.
But it's just the way that it is, JD from NY206. Why do you guys complain about everything, JD? Because it doesn't make sense. Our intelligence gets insulted, geek. How am I going to listen to this guy who's one of the faces of the company say something as a heel and then go and do something completely opposite from what he said weeks ago?
It all ties together. Your creative writing and the way that you insult us sometimes with some of these storylines. I'm not going to say all of them, but sometimes they're just mentally insulting. It all ties together as to why the product is not performing as well as you would like it to. How about that for wording? I didn't even say because the product is failing. No, I'm going to say the product is not performing as well as you would like it to. Why? Because of things similar to what we just described just now. You can't insult the intelligence of your fan base.
How many other people are actually going to mention that in their podcasts tonight outside of Solid Monster? Probably nobody. Probably nobody. They just gloss it over and everything's great, AEW. This is the reason why people are losing interest. Do not insult the audience, their intelligence. Don't do it. Yeah. Someone asked in the chat, where's Cedric Alexander? Cedric Alexander signed with Impact Wrestling, TNA. He is not coming to AEW. It would be, now looking back at it, very unlikely because of what's happened with Big Swole, his wife. So that's that.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like there was negotiations at least. I feel like they were at the table at least.
Probably.
And maybe the negotiations fell through. Maybe he decided otherwise. But I feel like it was going to happen and then it just didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really. I don't care. It was an idea. It's come and gone. It's not happening. How do we feel, Jesse, about Jet Speed versus the Hurt Syndicate? Excited about it? Just another match to get 4 guys on the show, huh?
Does anybody believe that Jet Speed is going to win?
No. Now, I mean, I listen. I don't want to say that they can't. We could see the building blocks to MJF fucking things up and maybe costing the Hurt Syndicate the titles, and then maybe we get a turn happening. Maybe something like that happens. But the head-on opinion would be no. The Hurt Syndicate are not losing to these 2 scrubs. No.
Yes, and that was brought up in my chat during my live stream today. Like, oh, what if MJF turns on the Hurt Syndicate and costs them the titles? I'm like, okay. Well, my follow-up question to that would be this. Why did MJF join the Hurt Syndicate?
To get back Triple B?
Does he have Triple B?
He doesn't have Triple B.
Why would he go through all of this to join the Hurt Syndicate just to turn on them and cost them the titles? What was his beef with them? Why did he even bother joining them?
MJF
didn't get anything accomplished.
MJF is not going to turn out right on the Hurt Syndicate because there's not enough time to build that story going into All In. Nothing has happened yet. Nothing has happened yet. So if anything does happen, it's going to happen at All In, and maybe a miscue of sorts happens in the match, and that costs them the titles. Maybe.
You know, I'm like, it makes no sense.
No.
It just makes no sense. So that being said, since the only way the Hurt Syndicate would lose to Jet Speed is an MJF turn, and an MJF turn right now makes literally no sense at all, then there's just no way in the hell Jet Speed is going to win this damn match.
Well, Mark Briscoe, speaking of someone who doesn't win matches, Mark Briscoe, he comes on out. He gets a decent reaction. Mark Briscoe said everyone knows MJF can hear himself talk all night long, but the production said they have time limits to adhere to. So if MJF could be so kind, get out of the ring so I could do my business, says Briscoe. MJF says he doesn't give a damn what time it is. They can take as much time as they want, as unlike Briscoe, they are actual stars. MJF said the fans relate to Briscoe because they have as many bills in their pockets as Briscoe has teeth in his mouth.
Oh, God.
Briscoe will do what he always does, and that is lose. So go back to your ranch and pick up chicken shit, you blue-collared bitch, says MJF to Mark Briscoe. This was easily the best part of the entire show so far. Briscoe said he sees MJF's inner turmoil and pain as all these hurtful comments are from growing up bullied. So the word of the day, says Briscoe, is empathy, which for the first time maybe ever, we got a chant of empathy from a pro wrestling crowd. So please allow Briscoe to empathize, as it feels like MJF is trying to make up for something. If Briscoe was MJF going 30 years with a tiny kosher pickle in his pants, he'd want to hang out with the Hurt Syndicate too. Man, a lot of stereotypes in this one sentence, bro.
Go ahead.
Lot of stereotypes, bro. That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
This line obviously popped Lashley and Benjamin as they're laughing in the background, holding back their laughter. Kosher pickle chants started in Seattle as MVP says they're going to leave the ring for Briscoe to do what he does better than anybody else, lose. So that's 2 times in the same promo that they predicted this guy to lose. Gee, I wonder what was going to happen after that. Was he going to lose?
Bingo.
They slowly walk by Briscoe, who heads to the ring, and we have a 4-way match to see who gets the first spot in the men's Casino Gauntlet match at All In. This is Konosuke Takeshita, Bandito, Mark Briscoe, and Roderick Strong. This was very good. I didn't really think that Mark Briscoe was going to get the spot, but after the promo, obviously they set it up. Before the promo, I had Takeshita winning this, but that did not work out the way that I had anticipated. So this was good by all 4 guys. I do like the Casino Gauntlet match. I do hope that they keep it to 1 show and 1 show only and make it special this year, which is an annual thing at All In. But knowing Tony Khan, we'll see another fucking 3 Gauntlet matches this year. But we got a Blue Thunder Bomb, Gutbuster, or Strong rather, escaped a Blue Thunder Bomb, hit a Gutbuster. He charged for his sick kick and was planted by Takeshita Blue Thunder Bomb anyway for a 2 count. Bandito blindsided Takeshita and hit the X-knee, allowing Bandito to hit a 21 plex, but Takeshita rolled outside. Strong cut off Bandito with where Bandito tried to dive, and he cut him off with a end of heartache before he could recover. Briscoe flew him with a froggy bow, and he got the win because they telegraphed it in the promo with the Hurt Syndicate, and he gets the men's #1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet. Hurt Syndicate was watching backstage as MVP was applauding. MJF looked annoyed, and Lashley gave him a fist bump. Mark Briscoe is the #1 seed in the Casino Gauntlet match. Jesse, what'd you make of that?
So we were talking about this live, and I'm sitting there like, well, just like you said, well, before that promo, before they just absolutely just ripped into the guy, I would have said that Takeshita was going to win. But Pro Wrestling 101, once you call somebody a loser and then put them in a match, they're not losing. If they do, they are just dead in the water. They're nothing. They're a nobody.
They are a loser.
So then I started looking at the match. Well, who's in it? We got Takeshita in it, and then we got Bandito. I mean, for some reason, is the Ring of Honor World Champion. And then we have Roderick Strong. Like I said, I called that match from the very beginning. I said, bro, not only is Mark Briscoe not losing, he's winning and he's pinning Roderick Strong because the ROH World Champion is not going to lose. And Takeshita, someone who they're actually doing things with, is not going to lose. I'm telling you right now the outcome of this match. And I predicted that shit at the beginning. And sure as shit at the very end of it. It's like, see, there you go. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist. I'm no fucking genius. They laid it out in such a predictable way. You can see right there the outcome. It was easy.
Well, Mark Briscoe's in the Gauntlet match. I would assume that the guys that he wrestled tonight are also going to be in the Gauntlet match because they're all competing for the #1 spot. So I'm assuming they'll all end up in the Gauntlet match. Takeshita, Roddy, and Bandito. Same thing for the women. We'll get to the women in a second. But before the women, Adam Cole cut a promo backstage talking about how the Don Callis family has been a thorn in his side for far too long. Cole issues an open challenge for his TNT title on Collision to anyone in the Don Callis family. Great. It's exactly what I want to watch on my fucking Thursday night. Adam Cole wrestling in a heatless match, bro.
Oh, I'll be watching it.
I know you will.
No.
Speaking of which, we need less than 200 likes for Collision Corner. If you guys want to see Collision Corner tonight, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. 900 likes is the goal.
Bro, I have a huge, long Collision Corner tonight.
Pause.
Update. Amen.
We're not talking about kosher pickles, bro. Okay. Speaking of which, I do love a nice deli fresh pickle, bro. Nothing better.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Get your mind out of the gutter, bro. Okay.
Hey, man. I'm agreeing with you.
Athena. Oh my goodness, man. Can we get a round of applause for fucking Athena being on the show, man? Oh my goodness. Where's my soundbite? There you go, man. Holy shit, man. She's off the app. She got freed from the app, bro. She's out there with Billy Starks, Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, and Chris Statlander. The other women in this Casino Gauntlet #1 spot match. I actually thought on paper that this match was going to be better than the men. In fact, I thought the men's was actually better than the women's tonight, but on paper, the women's looked better. I thought Athena was going to win this. I really did. But with Willow and Chris Statlander in there, it seems like they're doing something funky with Willow and Chris Statlander, Jesse. And I know we talked about talking about it a couple of weeks ago because there was a moment where it looked like Marina was stalking Chris Statlander and Wheeler Yuta was trying to enlist Statlander for the Death Riders, and we didn't really get to it. I think we kind of glossed over it and forgot to talk about it. So I'm going to give you the floor to talk about this right now, man. How do you feel about AEW teasing Chris Statlander being included now in the Death Riders?
Ooh, that's bait. You just trying to get me to rant. What the fuck are they
We didn't talk
doing?
about it, bro. You owe it to the fans here. They want to know your opinion.
What it took me, and I'm still not over it. It took me an admittedly really long time to get over the fact that they turned Chris Statlander babyface when she was already heel, because they did it with no explanation whatsoever. I still don't know why her and Stokes broke up. I feel like there was some kind of backstage heat. Like, did he sexually assault her or some shit? I mean, what the fuck? Why'd they just drop it? She's no longer heel. They're no longer together. We'll drop it. Oh, people are bringing it up. Okay, well, someone mentioned it online or something, and that'll do it. That's not enough.
No.
Chris Statlander is one of my favorite female wrestlers in wrestling right now. And she was heel. Interesting. Let's see what they do with it. See what they did with it? Nothing. Ended it, dropped it, turned her baby face. It took me weeks. I'm on this fucking stream talking mad shit about how they just dropped that angle with no explanation. When I finally stopped talking about it, when I finally started to get over it, these motherfuckers started to tease her turning heel again. What the fuck is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? You want us to care. You want us to care that she's about to turn heel again. We did care. We cared when she was heel. You insulted us by turning her babyface with no explanation. Now you want to put her in the Death Riders. I didn't even get into Collision Corner yet because this happened on fucking Collision. I'm so confused and now less interested in one of my favorite wrestlers because of creative. Not because of Statlander, but because of the shit they got her doing. I'm less interested in it. So you want me to give a shit that she's turning heel. Why? Last time I did that, you literally wasted my goddamn time. So why?
I don't know, bro. You got a good point. I don't know. But the women's division, the women's division is flourishing, bro.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This start-stop pushing and booking and storyline, this start-stop bullshit is another reason that things are not going the way that AEW wants them to go. It's shit like that. All right? It might seem like it's not a big deal to whoever's doing it, but you have to believe me that is a part of the bigger goddamn picture. You don't give us compelling storylines, and the ones that you do give us, you just drop them for whatever reason. For whatever reason. Don't know what the reason is. You don't tell us what the reason is. You don't incorporate it into a believable story. You just expect us to drop it and forget about it and move on. And I can name so many goddamn storylines that they've done this shit to us. But then you want us to keep Wardlow. You want us to keep believing in these people, and creative gives us reasons to not. Why would I care about a Chris Statlander heel turn? Riddle me that. Why should I care? You just did this shit a few weeks ago, and then you dropped it out of thin air. But you want me to care this time. Why would I give a shit?
I don't know, man. I'm just as confused as you. Listening to you, I'm more confused. I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's all awful. It really is. We're going right back to Willow and Chris Statlander, where we were last All Out, and now they're just running that shit back potentially all over again. But, it could end in that, or they could end in a tag team, because we have news, Jesse, that AEW has in the can, in the vault. They are already created. AEW has 2 tag team titles possibly coming to television. One of them being the women's tag team titles, which we have discussed. And the reason why I said they're going all in legitimately on Mercedes and Tony, because they built an entire division to kill it for this one match. And everybody else is struggling to fight over something, which right now they have nothing. If Mercedes wins this match on July 12th, she'll have both of the women's singles titles. So they're going to need something else to make these women feel important. Tag team titles being created. We don't know if or when they will be hitting the Dynamite Collision shows. But the other tag team title, there is another tag team title coming to the company, bro. They had custom father and son tag team titles, which are called right now, this is according to bodyslam.net, Intergenerational Tag Team Championships was the branding, and these have been made for quite some time. This has quietly been in the works, and it's what led to the recent on-screen focus of Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. It's also why Billy Gunn's presence has ramped up alongside Anthony Bowen's. Plans call for father and son combos to get involved. Ricky Morton and his son, a Von Erich father-son pairing, Kerry and son, or even a Jurassic Express reunion, because apparently prehistoric lineage counts for something in AEW. Thoughts, bro? Oh my God, man. How man, and that Trump fucking quote, man, where he says they don't know what the fuck they're doing, man. You don't believe why I posted that, man? This is why, bro. Look, this is why, man. This report. How clueless can you be, man? That may be the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Father and son.
Bro, Taz is coming out of retirement, man, to Team Wood Hook, man.
There is literally only one father and son gimmick in the entire company. One. There's one. There's Taz. He's not an active wrestler, and he's not coming back.
Bro, Billy Gunn is not even the father of Anthony Bowens. Where are his actual sons that are a tag team?
There's only one the one father and son gimmick they have, they're not actually father and son. But that's the gimmick. I mean, they've lived up to it. They've been playing that, so that's fair. I'll give them that. I'll give them Christian Cage, and I'll give them Nick Wayne. So, you created tag team titles for father and son. Like, you have so many goddamn compared. Who else? Who else? You can't book the regular tag team titles correctly. What about the trios titles?
Who? Who are they?
You had the trios champions come running out in the main event.
Oh, the Ops. The Ops.
Did you see Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs come out at the end?
I did.
And they were scared to get into the ring.
I saw that, yeah.
Did you see Samoa Joe scared to get into the ring? I've never heard the words Samoa Joe and scared in the same goddamn sentence. Till now.
Everybody's got to feel minuscule compared to the Death Riders, bro.
It took Will Ospreay to come running out to help for Joe to get the courage to get into the ring. What the fuck? When has Joe been scared to get into a beatdown? He came out. He gave a shit. So why didn't he get into the ring? Joe was scared? Get the fuck out of here.
Now, I'm hoping that this report said that they're custom titles, which means I hope that they made it just for Christian and Nick Wayne to eventually play off the fact that Nick Wayne will turn on Christian and they will end up in a match at some point. I hope that's the case. That is the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard, ever, and it will fail immediately. We even joked that they may bring in Big Justice and fucking Big Boom AJ to do the tag team titles, father and son. Yet, nobody understands why the fucking attendance is down, ratings are down. No, nobody knows, man. This is why. This is one of the reasons why. How many fucking titles do you need? How many? Stop adding titles.
Mercedes carry?
We need to eliminate 3 other titles before we fucking start thinking about branding new titles. This is not the fucking fast food buffet, okay? Give me a fucking break. Come on.
They bring in women's tag team titles, bro. That's just 2 more titles Mercedes is gonna have. She's not even gonna have a fucking partner. She's gonna be walking around.
She's gonna be. She herself is gonna be the tag team champion. Anyway, Athena. There's news on Athena and Thunder Rosa. Athena or Thunder Rosa did not win this match, by the way. We'll get to that in a second. But there was a rumor going around that Athena versus Thunder Rosa for the Ring of Honor women's title was going to be planned for All In Texas. Now, this is absolutely unequivocally false. There's no reason why that match would take place at All In when they have a Ring of Honor pay-per-view that Friday before All In. And Athena is their biggest star and most notable champion. So why are they going to do that at All In? Now, I know Athena has been making the media round saying that she hopes to make it on the All In card, and she would be very disappointed if she didn't make it on the All In card. She's going to be on the All In card, and she's going to be in the Casino Gauntlet match for the women. Thunder Rosa and Athena will not be wrestling for the Ring of Honor women's title at All In. It's going to be at Ring of Honor. Just want to make that very well known to everybody. There was a report in the news that's not going to happen. Meltzer is wrong. The plan is for them at Ring of Honor. Now, we'll pick it up from the break here, or after the break. Fireman's carry by Athena. Tried to get the same move a little too much. Rosa countered into a crucifix for a 2 count. Nightingale and Statlander came in cleaned house. That left both of them to a face-to-face. Statlander tried a backflip head scissors, but Nightingale countered. They both teased Dr. Bombs until Athena broke it up. Athena tried a double suplex, but was planted by Nightingale and Statlander, who turned into a Rosa missile dropkick. And we got a Cazadora into a double stomp on Nightingale, and Nightingale got Rosa for a near fall as Athena backflipped out of a suplex, tried a head scissors, and the 2 of them were on 2 different wavelengths here. So, drop toe hold sent Statlander crashing into the ropes by Rosa, who hit her with a big drop kick. She tried again, but Athena pulled her to the outside and ordered Billy Starks to get the Ring of Honor Championship. Starks rushed over, and by the time she got there, Rosa slammed Athena into the ring steps. Rosa wanted a suplex, but Athena countered with one off the steps. We go back in the ring. Nightingale squashed Statlander with a cannonball in the corner. Statlander fought out of a Dr. Bomb. All of a sudden, Marina Shafir walked out from the back to distract Nightingale as Wheeler Yuta spun Nightingale around, but she flattened him with a pounce. This allowed Statlander to flatten Nightingale with Wednesday Night Fever for the 1, 2, 3. Marina smirked. She dragged Yuta away with Statlander, realizing the assist she got from Wheeler Yuta. So they're clearly playing up the fact that they're teasing a Statlander inclusion with the Death Riders, but how about this one? How about we're not going with that, and we're going to get Statlander and Willow back together on the same page as friends, right? Because that's where they should go, because if you do anything else and you keep them apart, you're just going right back to square one, and everything that you did is just going to be that much more noticeable, or the lack thereof, anyway. What if Marina Shafir and Shayna Baszler is the plan, Jesse? Maybe the Women's Tag Team Championships call for Marina Shafir to team with Shayna Baszler coming on into AEW against Willow and Chris Statlander. Do you think that is a possible fantasy direction here?
It's possible. you know, since this Cedric Alexander shit and we fantasy booked him for weeks upon weeks,
Yeah.
I don't like doing this anymore. I don't like doing it because we don't know if she's gonna come in, even if they're in negotiations. We don't know if she's gonna come in or not. And they've been teasing Chris Statlander joining the Death Riders for weeks now. Now I'm just under the assumption it's going to happen. I don't understand why. I don't like it. The Death Riders do not need two females. A male faction does not need two goddamn. I think that takes away from Marina's fucking luster. I think it does. Chris Statlander is a way better wrestler than Marina Shafir. Way better. You can't put them in a tag team. She's gonna make her look really bad. So I don't know what the plan is here. It'd be nice if Shayna Baszler came in and partnered with Marina Shafir. I have no reason to believe that's gonna happen. Is it possible? Sure. So is Cedric Alexander though. We don't fucking know. We don't fucking know. I mean, I don't understand why. I'm done trying to understand any fucking thing that they do. I am. Keep in mind, guys, I'm the one that tries to think positive here about AEW. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what direction they're going. I don't know why they're getting ready to turn Stat heel. I don't even know why they're even entertaining a Statlander heel turn after they just came.
And the worst part of it, none of it's interesting.
No.
None of it is interesting.
I'm of the belief that the Death Riders are on the downfall. So what would bringing in another member do? I'm of the belief that they're on the end of their run. So what are we doing here? We're adding to the group? I don't get it. Now, if you want to, it would make more sense to finish this Death Rider shit, bring in a Shayna Baszler, have her team with Marina Shafir. The pairing makes sense. They have backstory together, everything else, that's fine. And have them remain a team after this Death Rider thing has ended. But to just add Chris Statlander to the Death Riders at this stage makes no sense.
None of it is particularly interesting. I don't care. Christian Cage, got a recap of Christian Cage wanting his son Nick Wayne to walk beside him to become the first ever father and son AEW Tag Team Champions. We're told Cage and Wayne will face Big Bill and Brian Keith on Collision. Great. Renee's backstage with FTR and Big Stoke as she brings up the Outrunners interrupting their 8-man tag team match on Collision last Saturday, running them off. Hathaway says it's egregious that Truth and Turbo got involved and said he suggested good old-fashioned vandalism in response, but Dax and Cash are understanding men of the community and outvoted him. They issue a challenge to the Outrunners tomorrow on Collision to settle it in a much more respectable way. You know, Jesse, we went and talked about FTR potentially against Cope and Christian at All In. Now we're looking at Cope might not even be at All In. Christian might be wrestling Nick Wayne at All In. Who the fuck knows if even that's the direction? And now we're possibly looking at FTR against the Outrunners at All In. Where the fuck are we going with all of these guys involved, bro? Holy shit.
I don't know. Look, I don't know when Cope is coming back, but I feel like it's too late to put him in All In and have it make too much sense.
Yeah, it's way too late.
It's too late now. So I don't know if he's just on a hiatus. I don't know if he needs to recover from an ailment or anything. I don't know. But his absence has been pretty well extended. I thought they were going to be pairing him up with Christian Cage earlier. And maybe it's still happening later. Maybe he comes back at or after All In. That could be possible too. I don't know. I've kind of lost interest in anything that Cope might be involved in at this point, though.
Well, you know, it's all Christian Cage's fault.
Is it?
Yep. Fightful Select reports that major creative plans were in order for FTR after their heel turn on Cope. And obviously what we talked about with Cope and Christian was the plan. Specifically, they go in further detail, and it was noted to Fightful that Christian instead wanted to see things through creatively with Nick Wayne, as there's been a lot of time that's been put into him, Nick Wayne, and the patriarchy. Originally, FTR pitched the turn heel against the Outrunners last year, but the move was made to have the turn happen against Cope when the possibility of the match came about. Now, as of things stand, we don't know if there are still plans for a Cope and Christian reunion, but that was the plan, and Christian rather see the things play out with Nick Wayne and the patriarchy.
It's kind of a smarter move. I kind of agree with that.
Yep.
We've already seen Christian Cage and Cole. We've already seen Edge and Christian. We've seen it. Nick Wayne is a young up and coming guy that Christian Cage has been involved in for quite some time now, and he's been involved in his development, his character development, and everything else. I think it's the right move.
I like it. You got to give Christian some respect there. He wants to see things play out. Normally, if this was AEW, they would have dropped everything and just did what they wanted to do and get the bigger match with Cope and Christian. And none of it would have made any sense.
No, Christian Cage is here to help build the younger talent.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he's doing with Nick Wayne. I think that's the smartest move.
I don't know what FTR is doing at All In, but on the surface, it looks like a match with the Outrunners is on the horizon. Again, I don't care. That
Los
ship is...
Outrunners?
Yeah, Los Outrunners. Yeah, that ship has long sailed away. And in the main event, Adam Page... He's wrestling the newest unofficial member of the Death Riders, the Beast Mortos. Yes, the Beast Mortos is now main evented AEW television 2 weeks in a row now. Last Wednesday, Grand Slam Mexico, and then tonight against the number one contender for the AEW World title, Adam Page. Gee, I wonder why. And everybody tells me Mercedes doesn't have creative control. She certainly has creative control for her boyfriend. Right?
It's very, you know what? I don't know. It's very possible that TK could be doing this on his own free will.
Sure.
Just to try to get, because I've heard about this happening before. Remember the Colt Cabana thing and how he was moved to ROH and maybe not being re-signed, and people blamed it on Punk politicking backstage, and then Punk said he had nothing to do with it, and he probably didn't. But maybe it was TK that did it on his own to try to land the good graces of Punk. Like, hey, see, I put your ops over here, and I did this and I did that. And then people called it out and blamed Punk. Punk's like, I didn't do this shit. But it was TK that did it, trying to win browning points. I was like, hey, this is your... He could be doing that now. Your Mortos is your guy. Hey, he's in the main event now. Huh? He could be doing that shit on his own.
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised if he is.
Yeah, it's possible.
This wasn't bad. Again, 3 weeks before the fucking biggest show of their year, this is not the type of main event that we need. I'm sorry.
No, man.
No, this is ridiculous. How does this get anybody excited for a world championship match between Adam Page and Jon Moxley? I don't understand what the fuck they're thinking here. And the funny thing is, you put Adam Page in this nothing match... And I know everybody else saw it because I fucking cringed. He does his Orihari moonsault off the top rope, and he fucking comes down and lands wicked on his knee, and he fucking buckled his knee a little bit. I hope he's all right. I don't know why we're having this guy go out there and do fucking moonsaults to the Beast Mortos on a nothing match for Dynamite 3 weeks away from the biggest match of his career. I don't get it.
Protect your main event.
Yes.
You have to protect your main event. There is no reason to have these kind of spots this close to your biggest show. They don't need to be wrestling right now.
No, and if they do, a spot like that is not needed in this match. So we'll pick it up from that. He buckled his knee a little bit. Hopefully he's all right. It didn't look like he finished the match, so I'm sure he's all right. But it looked a little skeptical. Landing on his feet, Mortos quickly sprinted back to the ring and out to the ring with a tornado dive onto Adam Page. Back inside, pop-up Samoan drop hit for Mortos. Near fall, lung blower. Page got out of a tombstone attempt, but Mortos managed to swing into a spike. Page answered with a poison rana and a wild lariat, and then followed up with the buckshot lariat. And the Beast Mortos, once again, back to being a loser. Post-match lights went out. When they came back on, the Young Bucks had Page by both of his arms. EVP trigger. Matthew and Nicholas screamed at Page that this is all his fault as the Death Riders music hits. Death comes sweeping over Seattle and walks out with Maurice Shafir and Willie Yuta with Jon Moxley leading the way. And Page was surrounded as Shafir handed Moxley a chain as he wrapped the chain around Page's throat, choking him out. The Ops finally hit the ring. I was starting to ask, does Page have any friends? Where is everybody that backed up Adam Page? They finally come on out. The Bucks and Yuta are keeping them at bay with steel chairs. Will Ospreay sprints out, and they all break through. Death Riders and the Bucks all bail through the crowd as the doctors go and check on Page. Moxley told the camera at All In he'll show the world what the one champion looks like. That's the way Dynamite went off the air. Now, none of this is exciting whatsoever. But I have one question to ask you, Jesse, before we hopefully get into Collision Corner and then into the Super Chats. The men's gauntlet usually is a breeding ground for surprises. I mentioned this on Twitter yesterday, and I mentioned this on TNT with the Solid Monster. Do you see Adam Page losing to Jon Moxley? Jon Moxley retains. Death over AEW reigns. But in the gauntlet match earlier in the show, Darby Allin returns as a surprise and wins the gauntlet, cashes in his contract that night to beat Jon Moxley and win the World Championship to go off the air for AEW All In Texas. Do you see that happening?
I guess so. I think it'd be a disservice to Hangman, though.
It would.
And all of the work he's done and to this build and everything else going into it. I mean, but I don't know if I could see it happening. I'm trying to figure out if I'd be happy if that happened. I mean, look, first off, I'll be happy that Moxie's no longer champion. Let's just start there. But it would kind of suck to put us through this whole build and everything else to get here and then just have a Money in the Bank cash in basically at the last second. So, but at the end of the day, as long as Moxie's not champion anymore, we'll take it. I mean, I feel like I feel like this is a nice spot for Hangman to up his stock a little bit by beating Moxley to become world champion.
Yeah.
And just go from there. What is the rush for Darby? Get him back on TV. Get him back into the loop of things. Get him back in ring shape, and get him to a world title. What is the rush? The guy's like 15 years old or some shit, dude. I mean, he's not going anywhere. You know, what is the rush?
I don't know. That's what I talked about yesterday. We'll see what happens. But again, I don't really get a sense that Hangman is the guy. That's just the way that I feel. I feel like Mox is going to end up retaining, but we'll see what happens. This was a very cruise control like show. There's literally nothing jumping off the page as exciting as it should be. I have to watch this. I'm so excited about All In. I don't get that feeling at all. Just another night in the office. That's all it is.
Yeah. The show was good. The show was fine, but we're in the midst of a build right now that good is not good enough.
No.
You know, no. You should be having us on the edge of our goddamn seats, you know, begging for more, and we're not there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Justin. What were you gonna say?
Guys, do you not want me? I don't think, I'm not gonna waste my time doing these goddamn collision corners if you guys can't get the requirement that we're asking for.
I mean, the requirements for a lot of things tonight are just not where it is. I mean, Solomonster's got a poor audience. We got a okay audience, but not what we usually do. The show sucks. That's the problem. Nobody's excited about this. Otherwise, if they were excited, they'd be here. So the likes aren't where they need to be. The super chats aren't where they need to be because nobody is feeling the excitement. When we are excited, they are excited. When they are excited, we are excited. We're not excited. So it's tough. We got 7 more likes till Collision Corner. I'm going to run through this Collision card for tomorrow because Collision airs tomorrow at 8 p.m. Adam Cole versus Josh Alexander for the TNT title. FTR calls out the Outrunners. Templario and Brody King, who also is not factored into fucking All In. Why? Templario and Brody King versus Hechicero and Rocky Romero. I can't wait to not watch that one. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne versus Big Bill and Brian Keith. Queen Aminata versus Sky Blue, and Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly. And then next week on Dynamite, we got Okada versus Ibushi. MJF competes in a gauntlet qualifier, and Mercedes defends the TBS title against Mina Shirakawa. And we just got 900 plus likes, and Collision Corner is on the way.
There we go. Let me pull this up, man. I thought you guys loved this segment. I put a lot of time and effort into this segment, man. You guys don't love it.
What time is it?
You guys hate it. Hold on, man. That's not time for anything until I pull up the goddamn notes. There we go. It's time for Collision Corner.
Oh my God. Collision Corner's returned, folks.
Look at
There he is. Look at him.
Where is? Oh my God. Okay. The notes up. Hold on. Now. You guys took forever, man. I didn't know if I was gonna use this or what. I gotta get the background ready.
There he is. There he is. Look at him.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this week on Collision Corner, the show opens up with Jon Moxley versus AR Fox.
Oh, man.
The world champion, the headliner to All In, is in the opening match on Collision, a 6-minute match with AR Fox.
Why? No answer. Okay, continue.
FTR, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita defeats the ROH World Champion Bandito. I'm gonna give his full title every time I say his name. The ROH World Champion Bandito. And Daniel Garcia and the Undisputed Paragon Kingdom era. And after the match, the heels do heel shit, and then the Los Outrunners make the save.
What was this? A 6, 8-man, 12-man tag? What was this?
1, 2, 3, 4. 8-man tag.
They followed up with a fucking 8-man tag after a 16-man tag the week before, huh?
Yeah, that voice is throwing me off.
All right, there you go. There, I'm back, okay?
There we go. Okay, sorry. That was, what the fuck is, you sound like the Allstate guy in commercials. Let's see. We got Swerve Strickland versus Shane Taylor.
This show sucks, bro. I'm sorry. Why? Why is he wrestling Shane Taylor, bro? Bro, I saw a clip, man. Were they gambling on the outside?
Yeah. They had Nana and the Shane Taylor crew were gambling, and Tony Schiavone got involved in the gambling, and
oh, that's what they're doing now. They're promoting gambling for the youngsters in the crowd, huh?
Oh, please. Every fucking body promotes fucking DraftKings every goddamn week. Please. Let's see. I don't think I need to tell you guys who fucking won. Let's see. Tony Storm. Tony Storm comes out and says she is not some, quote, other motherfucker. She is timeless Tony Storm. She is the AEW Women's Champion, and if Mercedes makes one false move, she will eat her out. I mean, alive. She'll eat her alive.
Whoa.
She'll eat her alive.
Whoa.
My bad. That one's on me. That one's on me.
That's a typo, ladies and gentlemen. Typo.
Yeah. My bad. Sorry. Happens all the time.
Jesse's iPad malfunctioned during note taking.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news. The conglomeration has a new member. Hey, this is important stuff.
Bro, why are they still a group? Who's the new member? Who's the new member of the conglomeration?
Hologram.
Oh my God, man. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Speaking of the conglomeration, we have Mark Briscoe, Willow, and the newest member of the conglomeration, Hologram.
Oh my God, this show is fucking terrible, bro. I'm sorry. This show sucks, man.
Versus MXM Collection and Tyra Valkyrie.
Oh my God, man. I feel so bad for you, bro. I really do.
Hey, man, I'm 3 sheets to the wind on this one. I was enjoying myself today, but I'll let you guys figure out who won that one. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the MXM Collection.
Bro, do they really want Hologram to get over, man? They're pairing him with Mark Briscoe now?
Bro, the conglomeration is back on top, bro. You know Hologram's record, man? Please. And why is Beast Mortos in the main event if Hologram is like 37-0? Riddle me that one.
Well,
why is the guy who's undefeated not in the main event, but the Beast Mortos is?
Bro, Hologram is not riding the money train, bro.
Literally. So, we get Lexi Nair in the back with Chris Statlander, who's more interested in her phone than this show.
Probably texting her fucking husband, man. Please get me the fuck out of here.
Stat is being heavily recruited by Wheeler Yuta and now Jon Moxley himself. Jon Moxley himself was out there recruiting Chris Statlander. It's a big deal.
I think I saw this segment. Did she drop her phone and he picked up her phone?
She dropped her phone and he picked it up, got in her face after she like smacked and beat the shit out of Wheeler Yuta. Thought that he was gonna come in and come to Yuta's defense, but instead picked up her phone and said, "Don't let anybody tell you what you're worth." Gave her phone back, left her sitting there thinking.
You know what this fucking show's worth?
No, my God. So that turned the recruitment of Chris Statlander from the comical levels, because it was Wheeler Yuta doing it, to the AEW World Champion doing it, to making it a serious thing. So now I'm 100% on board with they want Chris Statlander in the Death Riders. So, okay, I guess that's what it is.
We'll see. Statlander will definitely pretty up the Death Riders, I'll tell you that.
Oh God, yeah. The Don Callis family comes out and says Kenny has no friends left. Mark Briscoe comes out and says yes he does, and then brings out Kota Ibushi.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
So now we got Kota Ibushi back. Okay, that's fantastic, I guess. We come back from commercial break, and for some reason, Big Bill and the Bad Apple are in the middle of a brawl with Anthony Henry and JD Drake. Bro, that is, I don't know why. I don't know what happened.
Just randomly.
Before the break, we were told that Ricochet was coming out to be on commentary, and then that match was happening. But when we came back, this is what we got. That brawl made no sense.
That is unfucking believable, bro. Unbelievable.
Let's see. The Patriarchy comes out. Christian Cage announces that he and Nick Wayne will be pursuing the AEW tag titles. Big Bill proceeds to call Mama Wayne a slut, and Cage proceeds to call Big Bill a relapsed alcoholic.
Oh my God, man. This fucking show was written by a relapsed alcoholic, man. What the fuck?
You can't make this shit up, man. Let's see. They show a replay of the 5'2" player realizing that he has no tools.
He's got more tools than wins, this fucking guy, man. Has he won a fucking match yet?
I don't think so. Let's see. Speaking of tools, Ricochet comes out. Let's see. He's on commentary for the next match. Jet Speed versus the Gates of Agony. 10 minutes. Bro.
Oh my God, man. This show is fucking absolutely offensive in every fucking way, bro.
10 minutes this match went.
I don't believe you gotta watch this shit. I really don't.
10 fucking minutes. Jet Speed wins, obviously. The main event, we get an 8-women all-star tag match. They kept telling me this was an all-star match.
Bro, what was this fucking... what was this show? 4 hours long? What the fuck?
It felt like it, man. 8-women all-star tag match with Tekla, Penelope Ford, Megan Bayne, and Athena. I'm guessing Tekla is a heel.
I would suppose so if she's teaming with Megan Bayne, yeah.
Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, I guess so. Versus Ty Mello, Anna Jay, Queen Aminata, and Thunder Rosa with her Def Rebel quality music. So they changed. They gave Thunder Rosa her original music back tonight versus on Collision, man.
I wouldn't know. I didn't watch Saturday night, man. This all-star tag team match.
Let's see. So out of all that, the 8-women all-star tag match, the heels win when Red Velvet came out and gave Athena a belt to kill Thunder Rosa with. My notes, I said, red velvet. What the fuck is?
Bro, what was wrong? What was wrong with Athena's belt? Why did she need the TV title? What the fuck?
Red velvet. What the? Why?
Does she look the same? Does she look the same?
Edition.
Wait a minute. Does red velvet look the same, man? Where's she been?
What the fuck am I supposed to know?
Oh my God, man.
I thought she was injured. I had no idea she had a title. She got a title? What the? They have that's right. She's the ROH TV. They don't have a TV deal. They have a TV champion.
I got TV champions. I got no TV, man.
He had no TV deal. What is she the champion of? Ladies and gentlemen, that is this week's edition of Collision Corner. And my God, I swear on everything holy, I watch Collision so you guys don't have to.
That is us. I tell you, man, that show is fucking awful, bro. I don't know how I swear to God, man. I pray for your existence every fucking Saturday night, man. I really do. God, how do you look at that and say that's a good show?
That was not a good show. That was not a good show.
Holy shit, man. I never heard something so fucking bad. And people say fucking Raw's bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, this one was bad. This one was really bad.
Anyway, guys, that's your Collision Corner. That's your Dynamite review. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. We're going to breeze through these super chats because nobody wants to hang out with us tonight. Good, because I need some fucking sleep, man. Havili with 6 months. What's up, brother? Thank you very much, man. Happy to have you, and thank you for all the support, brother. Michelle with a 2. Mox promo feels like he will beat Page at All In. I am starting to feel that way. Nate with a 2. The Beast went from jobber to sleeping to the main event. Yeah. He's riding that Monet train, bro. He's having a good time. Jacob smiling with 35 months. 35 months and counting. Yes, indeed, brother. Thank you very much. Cam G with a $20 super chat. I'm going to bring a pillow and blanket to watch because it looks boring. What are we doing, JD? OTS for life. I have no fucking idea. I don't know what we're doing, Cam G. Robbie with a $4.99. This show at Seattle felt like Seattle from The Last of Us. Also, I can't believe NXT is having to compete with All In on the 12th at the same time. Are they really competing? Because in my honest opinion, if you're watching NXT, you've already made that decision to watch NXT. If you're watching All In, you aren't watching NXT or caring about NXT.
Yeah, exactly. Who's sitting around not knowing I don't know which one to watch. What do I do?
Like the audience who are watching each show has already been determined, bro. You aren't watching the show or caring about the other company.
Yeah.
Inferno Fireboy with a 5. Tonight was so boring. I was looking forward to my pain meds for my sickle cell kicking in so I can fall asleep. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Inferno. Hopefully you are well. And yes, it was boring. There was nothing storyline-wise worth getting into. That's how we all feel. It's just not exciting right now. Big Steve, new membership. Thank you, brother. Lavelle with a 5. Which scenario is worst? Goldberg winning at Saturday Night's Main Event or Moxley winning it All In?
Goldberg winning is always the worst.
That's actually a tough question. I'd have to go Goldberg.
No, it's not.
I'd have to go Goldberg. Goldberg winning makes sense, he says, for Seth's cash-in. No.
Nobody wants Moxley to win. That being said, Goldberg.
Yeah. Best in the world, Matt with a 2. Darby beats Moxley. Beast Mortos beats Darby. Watch. Beast Mortos is going to be the world champion, huh? I wouldn't be surprised. They'll probably end up giving that one to Mercedes, too.
Yeah.
Boss Top Rich with a 199 times 2. Why is defending AEW the default face motivation? Which is worse, the Death Riders or Seth's faction? The Death Riders by far. Why is defending AEW the default face motivation?
Who says that?
I don't know.
Because the Death Riders' whole shtick right now is destroying AEW. So the babyface wants to save it. That's the whole story.
Yeah. I don't know. Heaven Saint with a $9.99. Stat is going to push Page out of the way of a buckshot. Yuta's going to hit the knee on Page. Death Rider to the Cowboy. 1, 2, 3 still. Stat joins Mox.
Chris Statlander is not going to factor into the decision.
You're going to give Jesse a fucking aneurysm, bro.
She's not going to factor into the decision of the world title.
I hope not. Ian Gomes with a 2. Collision Corner is a good replacement for no BTB.
Be the Booker? What's wrong with
Be the Booker?
Still here?
Be the Booker is a solid monster thing.
Yeah.
We got Collision Corner and we got Mario Kart Monday. We're doing good. Michael Krause with a 18 months. Thank you, JD, Jesse, for everything you guys do for us. Much appreciated. And Jesse, thanks for watching Collision so we don't have to. LOL. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. And Joseph Gonzalez with a $1.99. Jesse, thank you for sacrificing brain cells for us. That's all we got for you. You guys were unexcited about Dynamite, and that's the end of the Super Chats.
We got Michael Krause with the 18 months.
I got him.
Oh, yeah.
He said, thank you for watching Collision so we don't have to. Let's go. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, man. Any parting words before we get the fuck out of here?
Join me tomorrow to help me watch Collision, please.
Are you doing a watch along?
I'm gonna do a watch along tomorrow night, man.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna pull a Band-Aid off. Normally I try to watch Collision.
Yeah. All right, there you got it. Go hang out with Jesse tomorrow night. I'm not doing a fucking thing tomorrow, man. I'm taking the night off. There may be news in the day, which I'll get a video up, but I'll probably find myself having a couple of beers, man. It's a long week. I'm exhausted. The heat's taking a lot out of all of us. So go hang out with him. Next time you see me live will be on Friday. The go-home show for Night of Champions in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about it on Friday. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Same thing for Jesse at Shottown Smart. Go check out all the content on the channel, and please continue to hit that thumbs up and leave a comment down below in the comment section. Until Friday night, guys, I'll see you back here live on Off the Script with the SmackDown Post on YouTube. I'll see you guys later.